Serving DOH spokesperson Maria Rosario Vergere has been designated as officer in charge of the health department. And it's final. DepEd Secretary Sara Duterte says that classes for the next school year will open on August 22. And the Bangko Sentral makes a surprise off-cycle move, hiking interest rates by a whopping 75 basis points in a bid to curb rising inflation. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Sean Yao. The opening of classes will push through next month despite calls for postponement. Marian Enriquez with the report.
Some teachers are calling for the postponement of the opening of classes on August 22. This is to allow them enough time to rest, as some of them are still reporting for duty.
Nagkaroon pa ng mga remedial, nagkaroon pa ng mga pagtitipon sa recognition, sa graduation. Sabi nga namin, hindi kami makina, hindi kami robot. No? Kailangan namin ng pahinga. No?
Baka pwede pa na iurong pa sa at least mid-September.
But Vice President and Education Chief Sara Duterte said the schedule is final.
Tuloy na po tayo, napresenta na po ito doon sa unang-unang cabinet meeting natin.
The implementation of full in-person classes will also push through on November 2.
Wala na po tayong aantayin with regard to this pandemic dahil ang sinabi po ng mga public health experts noon, we need a vaccine. The vaccine is already here.
Duterte said minimum health standards against COVID-19 shall still be enforced, and if a student feels unwell, he or she will be allowed to go back to blended learning. Meanwhile, the VP also clarified that there will be no discrimination based on vaccination status.
We don't see any problem with commingling sa loob ng mga eskwelahan dahil paglabas naman po nila sa eskwelahan ay naka-commingling po lahat ng vaccinated and unvaccinated natin sa mga bahay, sa mga malls, sa mga simbahan, sa public transportation.
Cocopeya, a group of private schools, is calling for continued implementation of blended learning.
Sana wag namang totally ipagbawal, no? Kasi alam namin meron din namang benefits, no? Para ma-maximize natin yung benefits ng hybrid and blended learning, which is the future of education.
Meanwhile, Duterte said the DepEd has already finished its review of the K-12 program. She has ordered the agency to now look into the senior high school curriculum in particular. For News 5, Marian Enriquez, we are One News.
One nurses group is concerned on the lifting of the ban on new nursing programs. Camille Samonte tells us why.
The Commission on Higher Education on Wednesday announced the lifting of the moratorium on the opening of new nursing programs in higher education institutions. CHED Chairman Prospero de Vera said they reviewed the order as the country faces a shortage in health workers. The Philippines needs over 200,000 more nurses based on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals requirement. However, there are only around 90,000 nurses in the country.
I remember there were calls at the height of the pandemic to lift the moratorium on nursing because of the perceived lack of nurses, especially at the height of COVID, and the lack of health personnel was seen as a critical issue during the height of COVID, both in terms of ensuring hospital care as well as ensuring the vaccination of Filipinos.
6 regions are in need of more nursing programs in their universities and colleges. CHED imposed the moratorium in 2011, following a decline in the quality of nursing graduates produced. But the Filipino Nurses United expressed their concern on the decision to lift the moratorium. This as only few were able to finish the program, compared to the total number of enrollees. Based on the CHED data, around 165,000 students enrolled in the nursing program from academic year 2011 to 2015, but only over 28,000 graduated from BS Nursing. The number of passers in the nurses licensure exam also remains low. From 2017 to 2021, there are 93,000 examinees but less than half passed the exam.
Ang reflection nito ay ibig sabihin merong mga nursing schools na hindi nagpa-perform ng maayos. Kaya hindi po lahat ng nag-e-enroll ay nagtatapos bilang mga PSN graduates. Ang mas dapat palakasin ng chair ay ang regulation ng mga nursing schools.
The group is worried that there will be more unemployed and underemployed nurses in the country with the opening of new nursing schools. The group also denies that there is a shortage of nurses in the Philippines. Many are just working abroad or switching jobs due to the low salary and benefits.
Meron pa tayong ibang mga nurses na license pero nagtatrabaho sa non-nursing jobs, no? Tulad halimbawa ng mga BPO or call centers at iba pa. Ang bilang na ito ay napunta dyan sapagkat mas mataas yung ino-offer na sweldo.
The FNU pointed out that opening back nursing programs won't solve the supposed lack of staff in hospitals. Instead, the government should work on providing higher salary and benefits for nurses to convince them to stay here in the country. For News 5, Camille Samonte, We Are One News.
One infectious diseases expert says that the highly transmissible BA.5 Omicron subvariant is causing the rise of COVID cases in the country. Dr. Ron Jean Solante told The Big Story that 60% of samples returned positive for the Omicron subvariant. However, Dr. Solante noted that COVID hospital admissions remain manageable at the moment. The health department reported 1,600 new COVID-19 cases on Wednesday, with a nationwide positivity rate of 10.9%.
BA.5 is really highly transmissible. For that reason alone, at the same time, it can also evade our protection in terms of getting the vaccine and previous infection. The question is, are our healthcare utilization overwhelmed? Are the hospitals overwhelmed? But we are not seeing that in these new variants of concern.
One News Now will be back with more stories after this quick break. Stay with us. Netizens are sounding the alarm over a Facebook and YouTube channel that has been sharing tips on how to sexually engage with minors. A warning to viewers, this story contains sensitive content. Here's the report.
The topic of child grooming has been making rounds online after a Facebook page and YouTube channel went viral for sharing tips on how to sexually engage with minors. The YouTube channel called Usapang Diskarte shares tips on how to seduce young children and women.
Ganun yan mga Retopix, ganun ang tinatawag na conditioning. Pero sa pagko-condition kasi, lagi ko itong tandaan, lagi itong sinasabi, it takes time. Basta't hanap lang kayo ng hanap, ipunin nyo ng ipunin yan. Okay, ipunin yung mga babaeng ka-close nyo, ipunin nyo. Then kapag may nahinog dyan, kukontakin din kayo niyan.
Netizens have expressed disgust over the videos. They insist that whoever is behind the channel, including those seeking his advice, should be put in jail. Such grooming acts are covered in the Anti-Children Pornography Act of 2009. This year, the law increasing the age of sexual consent from 12 to 16 years old has been passed. This means that anyone who engages in sexual activities with those under 16 years of age will be charged with statutory rape. Senator Riza Ontiveros urges authorities to go after the owner of the YouTube channel. The senator also wants the passage of the Anti-Online Sexual Abuse and Exploitation of Children law to protect minors from this type of abuse.
Nalalagay ang ating mga anak sa peligro sa bawat minuto na hindi napipirmahan ang anti-OSAIC law. Our children need the full power and protection of this measure.
The Philippine National Police has made a request to YouTube to take down the channel. They are now investigating who is behind these malicious videos. For its part, YouTube said that they are now investigating the channel to determine their next steps on the matter. For News 5, Marlene Alcaide, we are One News.
It was a rough start for Gilas Pilipinas at the FIBA Asia Cup campaign opening after losing to Lebanon 95-80. Gilas trimmed a 22-point deficit to single digits in the middle of the fourth quarter but ran out of gas in the final minutes. Wael Arajaki led the Lebanese with 20 points, while SJ Belangel had 17 to lead the Pinoys. Gilas will be facing India tomorrow, Friday. Let's now take a quick look at today's other top stories. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas has raised key interest rates by 75 basis points over a month ahead of the Monetary Board policy meeting on August 18. This raises the benchmark interest rate to 3.25% on the back of U.S. inflation clocking in at 9.1%. The Philippines will be hosting the Southeast Asian Games again in 2033. Philippine Olympic Committee President Bambol Tolentino said they will present the hosting bid to Malacanang. If approved, this will be the fifth time that the country plays host to the biennial games. And Netflix series Squid Game makes history for being the first non-English language show to be nominated for Outstanding Drama Series at the Emmy Awards. The South Korean drama series bagged 14 nominations in total. For more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I am Sean Yao. We are One News.